What's going on? Y'all are watching the K313 podcast. I'm Elisha Nunn.
I'm Jason Wilson.
And you might see that Jason Wilson, Sharath, he's not here today, man, but I think we're enough. I think we're special enough. We can handle this.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We can handle this for sure. Today we wanted to come on and talk about how to win friends and influence people, because I know we're talking our age group, man. A lot of people either don't have any influence. Some of them might not have any friends. Mm-hmm. Some of them might not have any influence. Some of them might be hanging around the wrong influences. Some of them might have good influences.
Right.
But really we want to talk about influence, what it is, why it's important, and then how to actually get influence over people. So I guess we'll start off simple. What is influence?
For me, I feel like influence is just the ability to like have power over someone or to make someone act or do something that you told them to, or like,
right.
Yeah.
So it might not be like, so I would say maybe that's like, in a way, it's not like controlling. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? But indirectly controlling a situation. It's like having sway over something. Mm-hmm. I'm not necessarily pushing you. I'm not necessarily pushing something, but I could, I guess, blow on it. You know, I guess that's like influence in a way. Influence isn't controlling and forceful, but influence is more so swaying another person. It can be indirectly controlling them.
Right.
And we have a lot of influences in this world. We have a lot of influences in this world. Mm-hmm. In this world, we have the influence of the culture. And then, different types of cultures.
Yeah.
What the culture is telling us. We have celebrities. We have movies. We have music. We have TV shows. All of this stuff regarding influence. But really, the first thing we should talk about is a good influence versus a bad influence. And we kind of hear this as children, mm-hmm. right? As children, we kind of hear it, and it's sort of like, in a way, it's so cliche in a way, like, that's a bad influence, don't hang around them. But the reality is, there's things that's influencing you and you don't even know it. If I'm constantly listening to one thing, that can subconsciously be changing my beliefs, changing my natural behaviors.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? It could be changing you in ways that you don't even know. That's one thing about influence. It's very subtle. It's very sneaky. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So we have to, it's very important that we talk about what are good influences and what are bad influences. So I'm going to let you start that off. But what are some good influences? And keep it I guess you can be personal. What are some good influences in your life? And what are some bad influences in your life?
For me, good influence, my mentor, Chris Sharath Nagi Norris. I feel like he's such a good influence for me because he's fairly young and fairly mature at the same time. He's right in that gap, about to turn 30. Has 2 kids, so that's not similar. But, we've been through a lot of the same stuff, whether that's with emotions, physically.
He's not so old to where he's almost like has amnesia about what you've gone through.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you don't need.
Right.
But with Chris, he's just helped me, guided me through a lot. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I walk in, just greets me up with a dap and asks me how I'm doing. And it just feels like I can be transparent with him off rip. Like, something happened. My lunch spilled on my shoes. I'm mad. Man, Chris, my lunch spilled on my shoes. He gonna make a joke out of you.
You know what I'm saying? He gonna calm you down. And that's influencing.
Yeah, exactly.
But, okay, yeah. But what's a bad influence in a way? Because that's a great influence. Chris, I can even speak on that. Yeah. Chris has been an amazing influence on my life. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? The main reason that he's been an influence on my life, and really listen to this, because not everybody's going to have a Chris in their life. Mm-hmm. But the real reason he's been an influence on my life is because, one, he has knowledge, right? That's the first thing. He knows what he's talking about. He's not stupid. He's not foolish. 2, he isn't like, I believe that he has something greater than him that governs his life. So he follows God.
Yeah.
So it's not his own, he's not relying on his own wisdom. And man's wisdom is very, very, very fragile. It's weak. It's like building a house on sand. But he has his wisdom and his knowledge comes from God. And he's following God. So that's one thing that can help. But another thing is that he's gone through what you've gone through. He has experience. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's not foolish. And also, he's reached a point in life that we also want to reach. Yeah. He has a family. He's dedicated to God. He makes a good amount of money, etc. He's successful in a way. And that's something that you need regarding a good influence.
Oh, yeah.
If a man can only take you however far he's gone himself. So if he isn't, so would you listen to me telling you how to become a D1 basketball player? No, I suck at basketball. I can't help you with that. And that's one thing we always got to look out into good influence, man. What are some bad influences in this world?
I'm gonna just take it back to 4th grade for me. It was my friend. I'm gonna leave him unnamed, of course, but
gotta keep it anonymous.
Oh yeah.
Or no, we could call him out. John, it was you. Like,
nah, we can't do that. But going back to that 4th grade, this is really when I started seeing it. I had multiple people coming up to me about it, like, Jay, I've been seeing him do this. I was really kind of blinded to it, you know. I wouldn't listen to others because that's my guy since kindergarten.
Yeah.
But he started talking about people constantly, and like I see it in front of my face. It's like I can't ignore it at this point. Trying to be a man of God or a child of God at that point.
Right.
But going back to that, it's like, I don't know. I had to stop being his friend, talk to my parents. They agreed. It was a hard decision, but it really benefited me, so I wouldn't end up, you know, talking about others. But crazy thing is, it was a great choice because he would start talking about me after I stopped being his friend. Mm-hmm. So it was literally like clear to me that he wasn't the right person or influence to be around.
Right. I get what you're saying, man. And even then, just like a side note, I guess, if they're going to talk about other people to you, they doing the exact same thing about you to other people.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But I guess, what are some bad influences in your life right now?
No.
And it don't necessarily got to be people.
Yeah,
it can be a thing. For example, my phone can be, social media can be a bad influence on me, man. Yeah. Like if I wasn't creating content, I would be off social media. I don't. It's so crazy to me, man. Like a bad influence in my life, we can say social media, but we can also say music. It's crazy, you know. I'm not going, you know what, take this with a grain of salt, but I can't look up the direct study, but it's talked about how certain types of music can literally make you more angry and more aggressive. Certain type of music, it does that to your brain. Like it's not like a theory at this point. Yeah. This is just what it does. It's a fact. So music influences you, but let's put it like this. Man, if you're sad, what are you going to do? You're going to listen to sad music. If you want energy and you go to the gym, you turn up hype music because it's going to turn you up. When parents, when they do their little thing, they turn on love music. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is stuff that we acknowledge. Yeah. Music influences us. But we almost ignore and take for granted the type of stuff that they put in music today. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We ignore and take for granted the type of stuff they put in music today. We talk about killing, sexual immorality, drugs, etc. And some of this music be so hard. Like some of this music.
Yeah.
The beats be
ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just be real. That's crazy. What do you think that's doing to you? We're in a culture where all these things are glorified, and we treat this like it's normal. That's the power of influence. That's the power of a bad influence. So we can easily go on top of that. Music is clearly a bad influence.
Oh, yeah.
But another thing, you can speak on this too. Social media, horrible influence. It was something your sister said. It was a video. She said social media makes your opinion before, feeds you an opinion before you can even develop one yourself. And it's crazy because it does. When do people have influence over you?
I feel like when people have influence over me, it's usually over something I want really bad, like, or I need.
Elaborate.
So like, just say, if I want to, just say, example, if I want to go D1, great basketball player, right? That coach that can get me into a AAU circuit or can get me to where I want to get, they're going to have incredible influence over me.
You going to do what he say.
I'm going to want that influence so I can get to where I want, whether that's a good or bad influence. I'm going to go to example on the show. It's Bel Air, the remake.
The dramatic version.
Will Smith in season 2, it's this dude, his name is Doc, and he's trying to persuade Will and his parents, because his parents that adopted him, his auntie that brought him in, they got money. Right. So the dude wants Will for the money, but Will doesn't see it. His dad does, and his assistant does. So it's bad influence over Will because he isn't seeing the real thing. He's seeing
it's
all
that
the beautiful
desire.
stuff of
I get what she's saying.
all that stuff, but it's not really influencing him, right? Because he's not being around the right people, the right team that really supports him and all that stuff. So yeah.
Right. It's like he is that desire to actually, makes it NBA. That's clouding his judgment over this person. And this person pretty much is manipulating
Right.
Will. He's manipulating him. He's manipulating him because his judgment is clouded. I get what you're saying, man. People have influence over you when they have something that you want.
Yep.
Dang. That's deep. That works. So when should you allow them to influence you and when shouldn't? Like, when should you allow? How can you spot a good influence? How can you spot a bad influence?
You spot a good influence when you know they're actually trying to help you. Like
How
with
do you
Chris.
know
Look, with Chris, going back to Chris. What does Chris get out of helping us? Money, right? He gets that, of course, but he doesn't look
Not
at
really.
the money. I mean, not really, but
Because listen about it like that. And directly, all the help I've gotten from Chris one-on-one, I've never paid this man for nothing.
oh yeah. But I'm talking about is like the cave, stuff
Right,
like that.
I
He
get what
gets
you're
paid
saying.
for that. But what he doesn't look at that. He looks at us in 20 years thinking about, dang, if Chris didn't tell us me that, he didn't tell Lisha that, where would we be? Like,
Right.
but in those 20 years, us develop, we successful, have families, all that stuff. We can control our anger, all that stuff.
He has a genuine desire to just help.
Exactly. That's what you need to see in your influences. If they have something that you want and they're not getting anything out of it, that's where I see like, dang, they really want to help me. Like, dang, they're really trying to influence me the right way. It's a bad influence. Going back to that Bel Air stuff, like he want him for the money, but he also gonna help him, but he want him for the money. Like, that's like a bad influence. If they really want the best for you, then you'll see like, okay, that's someone who I need to be around.
Right. I get what you're saying, man. I think it's gonna be clear. Like what you like pretty much like you said. It's going to be clear that they want to help you and that their desire is genuine. And it's not clouded by anything else. And I think once that question comes up, you should be very, very, very wary and very, very cautious about how this person influences you, what advice that you take from them. Of course, don't blindly follow anybody, but just be wary and be aware. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So a lot of times that we're not bold about it, and we don't think that influence is important when it is, because Matthew 5:13 verse through 16 talks about how we're the salt of the earth. But if the salt has lost its taste, how shall its saltiness be restored? It's no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives a light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. In here, he's literally telling us, Christians, that we have to be a light. We have to be bold. Like, the light right there, it's not hiding. It's there. It's in our faces.
Oh, yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And if we're not in the light, and if we're not bold, and if we're not having influence, then what happens is they don't see any of our good works, and we're not bringing anybody to heaven. If nobody sees us and nobody hears us, how can they develop faith? They say faith is through hearing. So my question is, one, why do you think that Christians are afraid or Christians don't have influence? Or why do you think Christians run away from influence?
I feel like because us young Christians, we don't see our elders, we don't have that many Chris's. We don't have as many mentees that's telling us like follow him. We don't have that many people. Like my dad, he always shares. He had like 2 or 3 life-changing moments. Like with me, I make this quick. I remember, I'm gonna just say this. I was speaking in front of a church when I was like 8. I was shaking nervous. And I gave a message on Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. I was literally talking about that. I was dead scared, about to be shaken. It was like one of the best moments of my life, one of the best days of my life. He brought me through that. He gave me the confidence. I prayed. I was shaking, literally.
You did a good job.
Yep. He brings you through stuff when you need him. He's always there with you. He guides you through it. That's just some of the stuff that really like is amazing being a Christian. Because when you have him inside of you, you feel it. You feel him talking to you. You feel him like just guiding you along the way. I feel like that's important for me.
Holy Spirit.
Yep.
I guess the last thing is you have to genuinely care and love people.
Mm-hmm.
That's if I don't. So like you said, you allow Chris or Sharaf to influence your life because you understand that they genuinely care and love you and want the best for you.
Yep.
And if you are influencing somebody and it's not clear that you genuinely care for them, they're not going to listen to you, man.
Yeah.
But I guess that's it for this episode, man. Just keep it in a buck. So in summary, 1, influence is the ability to indirectly have control over something or somebody. Another thing is that you have to keep in mind, you are supposed to be seen and you are supposed to have influence as a Christian or just as a person. You need to have influence in general, if you're not a Christian.
Yeah.
That's number 2. Read Matthew 5:13-16 if y'all want evidence of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the 3 things, don't gather honey. I mean, if you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive. Don't force things on the people, man, if you want to get influence.
Yep.
Then also make the other person want to do it. Keep their desires in mind. They don't want to do it for the same reason that you want them to do it. They want to do it because they want to do it. So you have to pick at that desire. And then number 4, genuinely care for people. If you enjoyed this podcast, please drop a subscribe or, follow whatever. I don't really know how it works on every other podcast, but y'all want to see more content, y'all know what to do. Go ahead, man. But we'll be back. We enjoy coming here talking to y'all, man.
Oh, yeah. It was
Drop
fun.
a like, drop a comment, etc. I'll see y'all later. Peace.
Stay blessed. Shalom.
Shalom alaikum. I almost forgot that.
Sir.